Good morning, you listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Michelle Finn, who's the head of the BDNY, the Boutique Design New York show. Michelle, how are you?
Hi, Kemp. I'm fine, thank you.
It's good to talk to you. So this is the 9th year. It's just around the corner. I think we're inside of 6 weeks away. The Javits Center on the west side of Manhattan. And November the 11th and 12th, the BDNY show. I want to talk to you about that. Real quick, though, before we get into a few questions I've got for you, I'm a big fan of this show. If you're in the hospitality business, there's kind of two shows that you can go to. There's the big show in Vegas that's been there for a long time. You actually used to work for that show, and I believe that you kind of learned what was good and what was bad, and you created a really neat boutique show. And there's a lot going on in just 135,000 square feet at the Javits Center.
I have to say thank you.
You know, one thing, too, I want to point out, I was in New York a few weeks ago, and I walked the High Line, and oh my gosh, it's right out your back door. So anybody that's going to this show, if you've got a few minutes, you got to do the High Line in New York. Have you done it?
Yes, I have.
Let's go through a couple of things. First, the hospitality business overall right now, is it continue to be real strong?
It is very strong this year, and I think we're cautiously optimistic for future years.
Yeah.
But this year's strong. Probably, we definitely think the next 6 months will be strong, and after that, we're going to be a little bit more cautious.
Well, this show is a Sunday, Monday show, the 11th and 12th, and you attract, I think it's probably one of those it's so successful is you really do bring in the key people in the four kind of audience groups. You bring in A&D, you bring in the major brands because they're nearby, you bring in the property owners, and you bring in the FF&E procurement companies. And those,
correct.
That's kind of the four groups, right?
Right. We intend to serve the design team, which includes all four groups.
So this year, anything different, anything you want to call out that's going to be exciting, something to look forward to?
We have 7 design spaces.
Yeah.
And our design spaces, lounge, bar areas, created by leading brands or design firms. And we always get excited about design spaces because they serve as inspiration and networking and educational opportunities for our attendees. And some of the participants this year include Wilson and Associates,
okay,
a leading hospitality firm, as well as Studio 11, Studio Partnership, and we have 2 Marriott spaces.
All right, so let me give you a little bit more on that. The show floor, like I say, 135,000 square feet. One of the great things about the show that allows you to call it a boutique show is you can't be any bigger than 20 by 20 if you're an exhibitor, which I love that.
You are correct. Primarily, our booth size is about 10 by 10s, 5 by 10s, and 10 by 20s.
Yeah. So these design spaces you're talking about are, they're sprinkled around throughout the show floor, and it's a design firm. It's a flooring company, a furniture company, a lighting company, and so you go in and it's like a bar or an entrance to a hotel space. It's got different themes. It's really a neat way of doing it. You also have on the exhibit floor talks, which is really neat, so people can go and catch up on little maybe 15 or 20-minute sound bites. But you also have a full-bore education conference that runs both days from 10 to 4, so a lot of good content.
Absolutely. And it's different because the general sessions outside the trade fair floor, in some ways far more educational. The ones on the trade fair floor are more interactive. So they're educational but in a different way.
Another key part of the show is you have these Gold Key Awards. Tell us about that.
The Gold Key Awards are awards for excellence in hospitality design, and it recognizes the top hospitality projects in the world in the year of 2018. And the judging committee is comprised of about 14 ownership groups and our owners, property owners, brands who are judging talent.
So you actually give the award to the facility, and then obviously there's different companies involved in the design of that facility, right?
That's sort of a yes and no. We give the award typically to the design firm, and with the support of whoever they're designing whoever property it is. It could be a Marriott, could be a Hilton, could be an independent property, but it's all about design. So the award is given to the designer, the brand, the property, the purchasing agent. The architect are also recognized, but it's a design award. Typically the designers submit the project, and the judging committee, however, is comprised of all owners and brands. the people that would be in a position to hire a design firm.
All right. It's the way you set this up with the Sunday, Monday, how did that come about?
Well, that's been going on for years. Boutique design has kind of morphed into a sort of separate show over the years. I don't know if you remember the International Hotel, Motel, and Restaurant Show that was owned by the American Hotel Lodging Association, the New York State Association, and New York City. And their show, it was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday format. And at one point, that show did include FF&E. We're talking like 40 years ago. But over the years, the design FF&E went from the International Hotel Show to Vegas. And then boutique design came back in. But the dates were already established.
So you just kind of stepped right in.
We kind of lucked out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, people who may not have been to this show, you have it in conjunction with a show that's right next door.
Correct.
Two things going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
That is what was formerly known as the International Hotel, Motel, and Restaurant Show. Mm-hmm. It is now called the Hotel Experience, HX, mm-hmm. and it primarily focuses on back-of-the-house operations. It serves the general managers of a hotel, IT people, sales and marketing. It will focus on, again, more the operation side. Mm-hmm. So the exhibitors of that event are technology, some culinary equipment, whereas boutique design is solely focused on design.
Okay.
And we curate design elements for the trade fair.
Yeah. So people who go, they've got many things to see. And I just want to make sure that people knew when this show was and could make plans to go. Again, we're talking about the BDNY show in New York City at the Javits Center, November 11th and 12th. And we've been talking to Michelle Finn, who runs the show. And you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.